a 500-hour review on the John Deere Z335E. Today I want to do a 500-hour review on my mower, John Deere Z335E. It's a 42-inch cut. The Excel 42 deep. Come on here. $500 hours. Little decimal there. It's hard to see. So the machine runs really good. I haven't had a lot of problems with it. Just basic maintenance, I guess you'd say. Had to change the deck belt a couple of times, twice. It's not really that hard to change. That was loud. But it's a common thing. You're gonna have to do that with pretty much any mower, I think. This is my first zero turn. Had it for about 3 years now, 2.5, I guess. Gives you this little service intervals. You know, you gotta check your engine oil every day just to make sure it's in there. It's pretty easy to check. You got your oil right here, your dipstick. We got oil in there. It says to change the oil yearly or every 50 hours. I've probably changed it like 4 times. I guess I should have changed it about 10 times, but I don't quite follow that. At least every year, but I'd say at least twice a year. Yeah, just the basic things you gotta do. So, the fuel tank, it's only about 2.5 gallons. I think it's like 2.4. It's not a real big tank, but I can mow about 2 acres of grass before I gotta refill it. And when I'm mowing weekly jobs, you know, I'm only there for 30 minutes to an hour. I can usually mow 4 or 5 jobs before I gotta fill it up. And I just keep this 5-gallon tank in the truck with me every day. I just expect to have to fill it up, you know. It's a pretty good little mower. I've got a little list here. I came up with a few pros and cons. So I pointed out the oil, the dipstick earlier, but it's easy to change the oil as well. The oil filter's right there on the side. Whenever you do go to drain it, you just pull this thing out here, unscrew it, and drain it. So it drains kind of slow, and it's kind of off to the side here. You know, you got to put like I put a little coffee can down there to catch it in. But it takes a little while to drip all out of there. So spark plugs, I've changed them on it once, just because you need to do it. I've made a video on that actually, so check it out if you're interested in changing your plugs, but that's where they're at, 1 on each side. 1 on each side. So the highest deck setting, this mower doesn't want to go up higher than 4 inches, which is okay, but I find myself mowing on the highest setting most of the time. And if there's a lawn that's really overgrown, they haven't cut it in a month or 2, which should not happen, but it does. It would be nice to be able to lift that up to 5 or 6, and so that I think is a little bit of a con or a negative with the mower. But I've seen that a lot of these zero turns, they don't necessarily go up a lot higher than 4. Some of them go to 4.5 and 5. But I had a tractor style before, and that went up to 6 inches. And that's nice for those overgrown fields. So one thing, my handles feel a little loose and they're like touching. See, they smack into each other. And so that's annoying. I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna fix that. I've taken this cover off, this thing. It's not real hard. There's just some push pins. And there's 5 little push pins. You can't even, there's one right here. Okay, it's pretty easy. You take a screwdriver, you just pop it up. You don't even need a screwdriver, I guess. You pull that thing out, and then this thing will come right out. It's kind of hard to do with one hand, but anyways, it's as easy as that. There's 5 of them. 1, 2, 3. Forget where the others are. But I better put this back. So put it in, you just, and, all right. Where are those other ones at? Can't remember. It might have been, I don't know. So under here, we got our battery. It's kind of surprising how dirty that'll get. And one time I had a problem. I started blowing a fuse, didn't know what the heck it was. You know what happened? I had a rock, a tiny little rock, stuck in the solenoid over here, and it was shorting it out. I got in there and cleaned it all out and found that rock and removed the rock and haven't blown a fuse since. So knock on wood, hope I don't have to do that anymore. And you've got this tiny other little storage compartment. Don't really know what you could use it for. I keep a bungee cord in there so that I can tie up my chute here if I ever need to. But then you can see, I've got my chute blocker. I made a little chute blocker. Yeah, cost me about $5. It's cheaper than the $250 option. And yeah, I'm looking forward to leaves now this year because I think that I'll be able to mulch them up pretty good and not have to bag as many up. I've got a vac that sucks the leaves up pretty good, but it's a lot of work to dump it, and it just wears you out. So another thing I can say, recently the seat has started to tear and rip a little bit. Not a huge problem right now. It's in the garage all the time, but it does spend a lot of time out on the trailer in the sun. And I've noticed it's like when I go to get on it. It's when I go to sit on it here. When I go to sit on it, I'm usually like touching right here, and I don't know. So that's another thing. The seat itself is comfortable. If you're on a very bumpy lawn, I mean, you've only got a couple little springs here to kind of, for a little bit of suspension, and it gets really bumpy. It really does. You're out there bouncing around pretty bad if it's an uneven or unlevel ground and lawn. Let's see. The front wheel bearing bushels, they're super easy to change, but they're super cheap, and which is, I guess, nice, but they let me see if I have one over here. Yeah. All right. It's one of these right here and one of these right here, and they just get worn out. These are old ones. I just kept them in case, because I had another one that actually like completely broke. So I mean, I could use this if I had to, but the problem is the front wheels, they stop moving very good. Like when they get stuck, they're not allowing the mower to move fluently, and you got to change these. They're like $8 for 2 or something. It was cheap, but it's time for me to get some more of these, some new ones. I need to order some new ones. I like to keep a backup belt over here. That's the deck belt. All right. I took this cover here off because literally it was over here on the deck, where my chute blocker's at now, and I could not fit through a gate by like half an inch. And removing that, it allowed me to fit through the gate. So no more problem with that. And I haven't noticed anything bad about taking it off. So, it comes with cup holders, but it's not really a good spot to put anything. If you have anything that's carbonated, it's gonna be too bouncy to drink it. And if you just put a water bottle in there, it gets super hot being close to the motor and or you're out in the sun, back and forth. So I use them as trash holders. If I'm in the yard and I find something, I'll either put it in my back pocket, or if it fits in here and it's not gonna come out, then I'll stuff it in there and remove it when I'm done with the job. It's easy to blow out this belt here after the day is done. You just grab your leaf blower, or if you have an air compressor, you can use some compressed air and blow it out. There's 2 Zerk spots for the grease. One, it's kind of hard to see. It's right there. That's one. There's one on the other one. It's really the only spots on the mower I think you're supposed to grease for this one. And when I change these, I grease them with just grease. Pretty good little mower. I like it. I would buy another John Deere. This one was the most affordable in my price range, and I think I got the most bang for my buck at the time. It was good. I think the price was about $2,800, and I think they've gone up a little bit now. What else was I gonna say? That's pretty much it. It's a nice little mower. Nice little mower.